Joining me now are Ben Kissel, a political commentator and host of Last Podcast of the Left, and Harlan Hill, a founder of Democrats for Trump and managing partner at the Logan Circle Group. A tremendous amount of news right now, gentlemen. We just heard from Nikki Haley there at the United Nations talking about really getting even tougher, if possible, on North Korea and talking really a history lesson about things that have not worked. What can Congress do in that respect? Can people be on the same page, at least in regards to our nation's security in that matter coming up?
Well, I mean, I don't think that Congress particularly wants to touch North Korea right now. It seems like a sort of danged if you do, danged if you don't, to clean up that saying for television. So I don't really see them getting together and actually creating a policy that could go in and actually impact Kim Jong-un and his regime.
And you agree?
Well, with regard to North Korea, for so long, administrations, both Democrat and Republican, have relied on a containment or an appeasement strategy. And it's clear that that's no longer a long-term solution. And so I believe that we both need to come together, both parties here, and come up with a long-term solution, which frankly is predicated on the fact that North Korea cannot have nuclear weapons, period. And they certainly can't have the ability to deliver them to the United States.
I think we can all agree with that. And I think the idea of strategic patience, of course, the U.S. policy through four administrations has not worked. It's completely failed. And at this point, the Chinese supply 90% of the trade for North Korea. I think we could try to nip that off a little bit. But at the end of the day, Kim Jong-un is not invested in, he does not have a vested interest in feeding his people. Rather, he wants his military and he wants nuclear capabilities. That's the ultimate goal.
Yeah, shifting gears to something that would be astonishing if they didn't see the funding come through for the victims in Harvey. The billions of dollars that may be necessary. Some of it already headed that way, but a lot more may be needed. Will that at least get done when the Congress returns to Washington?
Now is the time for Republicans in both the House and the Senate to put up or shut up, to start delivering on these promises or to get out the way, to resign or be fired. I mean, the stakes are high. And Democrats and Republicans are totally unwilling to work together, or they're incapable of doing it. The president has said that I'm sitting here in the Oval Office ready to sign legislation. I'm ready to deliver immediate relief. They should be there today working
on this. They could get it done, right? I mean, is there any excuse to not get this done?
So. I do want to say my home state of Wisconsin has given 170,000 pounds of cheese to the people of Texas, so they'll be fully fed when it comes to that.
Well, it's one step. There you go.
It is one step. But it's, you talk about the Democratic Party, getting out of the way, being obstructionist. If you look at what's happening within the Republican Party, Donald Trump isn't doing himself any favors when trying to pass these legislative measures with DACA, the repeal of that. Senator Jeff Flake just came out, and many other Republicans coming out and saying that's a bad idea. The transgender ban in the military, very divisive. So his own party is really having a difficult time getting on board, regardless of the fact that this should be a simple, let's fund the victims of Hurricane Harvey. Of course, there are 20 politicians in Texas, such as Ted Cruz, who refused Sandy funding. So there is a lot of stuff on both sides. Yes, exactly.
Shifting to DACA, the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program that the president is looking like he'll be phasing out over a 6-month period, which means it's tossing right into Congress's lap. They've got 6 months to get something done. Nothing happened on repeal, replace. Tax reform has been pushed off. What will they do with these 6 months? Will they make something happen?
President Trump, I want to push back on something you just said, because it relates to this. President Trump is one of the most pragmatic, moderate presidents that we've had in recent memory.
I don't think that's true.
He absolutely is.
I mean, you can say it.
Okay.
True.
All right. The president has made it abundantly clear with respect to the so-called dreamers that we love dreamers. We love everyone that comes to this country, including undocumented children. And we want to come to a long-term, sustainable solution for them, which President Obama couldn't do. And so he tried to write legislation with his pen. Yes, he did.
No,
absolutely. If President Barack Obama had gone to Congress and he had some long-term solutions put in place to provide stability for dreamers, we wouldn't be having this conversation. But President Trump is giving 6 months to Congress to write a long-term solution. It's very humane.
A strong vetting process. DACA is a vetting process. You have to be enrolled in school, or you have to have a degree. You want to be working. The 800,000 people who are currently with DACA, they applied. Many of them do not get in to DACA. It is the vetting system that's already set up. And for him to turn his back on individuals who participated in a government program in good faith, I think is absolutely abhorrent.
I'm going to get you
Ben Kissel, Harlan Hill.
I have to get you a
You guys are great together, very, very feisty, and many feisty days ahead for Congress as well. We will see what they can accomplish as they head back to work. Thank you both for being here. Ed?
Man, it's Labor Day. They're supposed to be sort of taking it easy today. Not here. While parts of the U.S.